Improve your prompt engineering with Midjourney or just about any AI art platform using the following tips. Now, the first tip is to use positive words in order to focus on what we want to see and not what we don't want to see. Because if I type into Midjourney, a farm with no dogs, all of a sudden, there's a dog. Because Midjourney just reads the word dog and decides to include it in the image. But change the prompt to a farm with cows, pigs, and various animals, and suddenly you get an image which has those animals in the scene. So focus on what it is you want to see, and if that doesn't work, then you can try using negative words in your prompt. And it works in a pretty simple way. You type up your prompt, and then at the end you type dash and O for no, negative words, and then add dogs. To remove dogs from the prompt, I hit enter, we get images of farms and no dogs. The next tip is to put your priority words at the start of your prompt, as Midjourney and other AI art platforms will prioritize what is at the start of the prompt in your image. So if I type in a massive evil bull on a nice farm, it'll put the bull front and center and prioritize it in the image. But if I switch it to a nice farm with a massive evil bull, then it tends to reframe the image to prioritize the farm a lot more. And this can be used also for styles or anything that you want to prioritize in your image. Another example of that is a massive evil bull on a nice farm, comma, minimalist logo, popping the style at the end. Or I move it to the front with a minimalist logo of a massive evil bull on a nice farm, and you can see there's a little bit more of a focused difference. Next, I would consider defining color and lighting in your prompt in order to take a little bit more control over how your image looks. This time I have a masterpiece painting of a massive evil bull on a nice farm, and I add pastel colors to get a pastel color palette. Or if I want something a little bit different, neon colors, add something in to find exact colors such as blue and green color palette. Or I can just say sepia colors for that old fashioned look. Or in regard to lighting, I can say things such as low contrast or high contrast if I want to affect the image. And these images were made with the exact same seed, so you can see the exact result in the difference in those prompts. But you can also just mention things like dark, low lighting to get a nice dark image, or very sunny lighting to get something that's very sunlit and bright. Or that in between, you can go for golden hour lighting. There are a lot of different options you can choose when describing how your image is lit and the colors being used. Next is to take advantage of word weight and multi-prompts, specifically in Midjourney, in order to fine-tune the various areas of your prompt. The way this works is we add 2 colons after a word and then a number to score it. 1 being the default, any higher than that will increase the priority of that word. So if I take this image of a massive evil bull on a nice farm without any scoring, it gives us an idea of where we started. But for reference, I've added a 1 next to the bull this time, but the farm I've added :2 to get it to emphasize the farm more than the bull. But we switch it back and we add, say, a score of 3 to the bull and 1 to the farm. You can see how much more that the actual bull has been referenced here. But for a little bit of fun, I've made the word evil a score of 8, a bull a score of 4, and everything else default. And you can see just how it's drastically altered the overall look of that image by really focusing on the word evil and then the word bull, and the rest comes in at a much lower priority. Also, you can remove the number and use what's called multi-prompts. A good example of this is I have an image of an outside hot dog, which is a picture of a hot dog. But what if I just want outside hot and a picture of a dog, not the actual food? I type in outside hot, ::space dog, and those 2 colons will separate that word, and now Midjourney reads it as outside hot as one part and dog as the other. And of course, we get a picture of a dog. The next tip is to read and learn about art, photography, or anything visual. This will allow you to expand your vocabulary and get better at describing what it is that you want to see. So actually studying this, getting involved in it, will help you communicate better with Midjourney or any AI art platform when you are prompting. And that leads into the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. I'm always looking out for more tips to improve my YouTube channel, so I'm going to check out this YouTube success course by Marcus Brownlee, which covers a whole bunch of topics to allow me to improve and grow on YouTube. But there are a vast number of extra classes like this available in just about all fields of creativity. Now, chances are you've heard of Skillshare before. Basically, it's an online learning platform where you can go in and find certain courses around what it is you want to learn, take a bunch of classes, and improve your skill set around those topics. Now, Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. images. Now they have made some upgrades. They've included smarter class categories, and they actually cover a lot on their platform, including AI art, but also other skills. Like I mentioned, art, or we want to learn how to use Photoshop, any visual creativity style, any kind of creative business endeavor you have, like graphic design, web design. Skillshare has classes that you can check out, and they're very intuitive and easy to follow. Now, Skillshare have thousands of classes on that platform on just about any topic you can think of. So if you want to check it out, the first 500 people who use the link in the description below will receive a 1-month free trial, so you can check it out for yourself, take your time, and see what it's all about. I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to it. My next tip is not to make your prompts too long. If possible, try to keep them short and dense, and focus only on the important aspects of the image. This can be difficult because the longer your prompt is, we tend to get as much detail in there as possible, but by doing this, some of the things we put into our prompt can distract from the more important elements. So we need to really define what is really important and keep our prompts as short as possible. Here's an example of an image which has a rather long prompt. If I click on this prompt, it will show up in the prompt bar. If I want to add details in here, it may be difficult and it may be competing with a whole bunch of the information in here. And we need to really focus on what's important if we want to have a really efficient prompt that's easy to actually adjust. So we can see here we've got the word image. Straight away, we're generating an image, so we don't need to worry about that. And we have composed of brown, green, and olive color palette. If we just hit comma, earthy tones, we can cover a lot more ground with that phrase as opposed to spelling it all out. Now I'm going to go back to the start. It says here, create an artwork of a small monkey in the style of modern video game built on Unreal Engine. Now also it has here small monkey, and then the monkey is standing. So we can completely rephrase this to shorten it. So we can just say, because a video game is built on Unreal Engine, we don't need to worry about the word video game. We don't need to be so descriptive. We can just say an Unreal Engine 3D render of a monkey. And we says here the monkey's standing in a forest environment with trees, beautiful nature, and bright blue sunny sky in the background. First of all, the sky is always going to be in the background, so we can get rid of that. We can just say a sunny sky, and we can delete and just simply add a comma. I'm not going to worry about the monkey is standing because the monkey is likely going to be standing because of the type of images that Midjourney is going to produce with the subject of a monkey. So I can just say a monkey, comma, forest. A forest generally has trees. Nature generally has trees. I don't think we need to worry about nature because forests are composed mostly of nature. We can look at these things and see what is important and what isn't. So I can basically get rid of environment with trees, beautiful. I can get rid of nature. Now we have this really short. I don't even have to have an. I can have Unreal Engine 3D render of a monkey, forest, sunny sky, high contrast, earthy tones. So we've got this much shorter prompt now, which is going to be easier for us to add details to if we need to make any adjustments. But let's hit enter and see what image we get. So you can see we've actually got more earthier tones than we do here. So it's actually followed the color palette a bit more closely, not competing with as many things. It has a bright sunny sky, he's in a forest. The only thing I can notice is that he's sitting. So again, I can come up here, make the adjustment of a monkey standing, hit enter. We have more images where the monkey is standing, although he's still sitting here, but we managed to sort of steer Midjourney in the right direction. I'd also like to point out the original prompt described the monkey standing, and he is sitting in all of these images. So by not competing with this lengthy prompt and really focusing on the important aspects, I'm able to get a little bit more control over my image by being more direct and simple. However, another great way of doing this is to head into Discord. Once in Discord, I can type in /shorten, paste in my prompt, hit enter, and you'll notice that shorten focuses on the important tokens. So it has shortened the prompt, and I'm able to sort of use these as a way of trying to remove the distracting words from my phrase. So I can try, it removes the least from the first and the most from the last, so I can create these images. And now starting from the first and going through to the last, you can see the image we get here is not too bad. The next one is actually even a little bit better, a little less of the earthy tones. Even this very short prompt looks pretty good here. This even shorter prompt is starting to get a little bit away from the earthy tones, and this one has removed the forest. So simply using shorten and picking the prompt that produces the best result with the shortest prompt is a great way to take the important part, add it to your image, and then you can make some adjustments that will have a bit more of an impact on your image. A powerful tip that also keeps your prompt shorter is to define distinct styles of your image. It's a pretty flexible tip, but there are things like common art styles like a watercolor painting, or you can try something a little bit different like an ink dripping drawing. But if you want a photo, you can add something in like DSLR photo, or even go for something a little more cinematic like a sci-fi blockbuster movie screen cap. If you want to try something like a bit of anime, there's always anime 1990 film screen cap using Niji 6. You can do something a little bit inventive also. I have here an ice sculpture, or I can even try any style that comes to mind, have a bit of a play, or materials. I have a full list of styles you can try in my style video playlist. I'll check that out and I'll pop a link in the description below. And another step in that direction is my next tip, which is to cover a lot of ground by using artists' names, as certain artists have very particular looks that could be similar to what you're trying to create. Some artists you could try. I'm a huge fan of HR Giga. He always seems to produce some pretty unique style of art. But you can try someone more famous, someone like Picasso, if you want that real Picasso style, or even in the style of Salvador Dali, if you want something a little bit stranger looking, or even a style of Leonardo da Vinci, to get something that's a little bit more like him, a little more of a golden tinge to it. You can try the style of Hans Belmer, or something else like a combined style, like the combined style of Hans Belmer and Picasso to get something unique, or the combined styles of HR Giga and Leonardo da Vinci. You can combine artists or try one artist at a time to get very unique, very outstanding styles. Another tip is to get inspiration from looking at other people's prompts in order to get an idea of different ways that you can word your prompt and different phrases and words that you can use. Now, there's a few different places out there you can go, like there's freeflow.ai or there's social media. I've got a full video on this, I'll leave in the description below. But also heading to the Explore page on Midjourney, you can scroll until you find something that looks pretty cool. So this image here looks a bit different. I can use this prompt by coming down to use prompt, change a few things around. I can also just have a look at the prompt and see if there's anything in there I want to try. I can simply click back, come in here again. Again, we've got a nice big long prompt. I could try and shorten that, look for different phrases in there. I can go through and see how people have styled their prompt. So this image here, we can see we get this very nice sort of fisheye lens effect. You can see here, fisheye lens effect. So by going in and looking at their prompts, you can find this kind of information. Also things like film grain to add a little bit of grain to that photo. Go through, look for some inspiration for prompts by using Midjourney's Explore page or some of the links I'm going to leave in the description below. My next tip is to take an existing prompt, split it apart into shorter phrases by using permutations to see what results you get from each phrase. Now I'm back on the Midjourney Explore page and I found this creepy looking image here. It also has a prompt with a few different phrases in there, so I can click Use Prompt down here to add it to the top. I'll make my subject a dog. I type in dog. But if I want to try some of these different styles, first I'm going to remove the parameters and I'm going to use permutations by adding a curly bracket at the start and a curly bracket at the end. And anything separated by a comma, it will essentially switch out these word for word. So I've got antique photography in a Gothic city. I've got in the 1900s. I've got dark fantasy. I've got WTF, dark soul style mythical beast, weirdness has no boundaries, and dire world. I think that's supposed to be dire world. So now if I release that, I'll get a prompt for dog, antique photography in a Gothic city, or dog in the 1900s, or dog, dark fantasy. And the reason I do this is because I want to see what impact each phrase has on the image, and I can start to sort of collect the phrases that work best for me. I hit enter, come back to create. So by splitting that prompt apart, I have dog, antique photography in Gothic city, and that's a pretty unique result. Scrolling up, we have dog in the 1900s, very old-fashioned style photography. Dog, dark fantasy has given us a very misty sort of appearance. Dog, WTF has also given us a bit of a fun result. Dark soul style mythical beasts gives us something a little bit different again. While weirdness has no boundaries also gives us some strange images. And of course, dog, dire world, where you get some more unique images. So this is a great way to discover style phrases you can use in your prompt. Another tip is to describe the angle or the framing of your image, so that way you can again get a bit more control over how the image is presented. So in this image you can see we've used the term high angle to get a high angle photo of the bull. And with low angle, we get something that's taken from a bit of a lower angle, sort of looking up at the bull. You can also frame it up so we have a nice landscape shot where it has a landscape in the background showing more of the full bull, or you can get nice and close with a close-up shot of the bull by mentioning close-up. Or you could even say something like far away landscape shot to get a bit further back from the bull. Oh, going back to the angle, we can add side angle to show the side of the bull as well. This is another way you can control the perspective of your images. Often the first image is not enough. So my next tip is to consider always re-rolling and remixing your image to sort of go down that rabbit hole in order to fine-tune what it is you're after. Now, I'll cover both the web and Discord here, but it's pretty simple that if I really want to try and get another version of this, like it's close but not quite what I want, I can come down here, hover over rerun and click that. And it resubmits that prompt and gives me some new results. However, if I want to make some subtle alterations to the prompt, again, I just click the prompt, come over to my prompt here and type in what I want, muted blue tones, submit, and I produce another set of images, this time with that blue muted tone that I added into the prompt. In Discord, if I want to re-roll, I can simply click this re-roll button here, and it does the same function as hitting rerun on the website. But there's something else I recommend doing, that is typing in /settings, hitting enter, turning on remix mode. Mine's highlighted green, so it's already on. So now when I come up, I click the same button and I get a chance to alter the prompt. So I can either leave it the same, and I always leave this turned on. If I want to use the same prompt, I just hit submit and keep it the same. Or I can change to muted purple tones, hit submit, and I then get my revised prompt and a new set of images. And that is a great way to go through and make little adjustments to your image to try and get something closer to what you're after. My next tip is to describe a certain mood in your prompt in order to get a certain look or feel for the image you're creating. Depressing mood is a great example, as it tends to dull things down and make the image a little bit more muted. Let's move over to excited. We get a lot of energy, a lot of movement. Bright scene. Gloomy and spooky, another good example of making things spooky, almost a haunted feeling. And quiet, similar again, not really much movement, like a quiet morning. When you switch to loud, you get a lot of energy, a lot of things up in the air. But when you switch up to something like powerful energy, you get this really fiery, intense energy to the image. But bring it back down with serene stillness, and you get this nice, serene, still-looking image. Try something different. We have vibrant party energy. And it shows you how using different moods and descriptions can really change the overall look of your images, and is incredibly powerful. My next tip is to use solid prompt formulas that will help you achieve a better image, but also help speed things up as it gives you the information you need. All you need to do is fill in the blanks and create your image from there. Here is an example prompt formula you could try to use. It is art style of a subject in a location or scene, mood. So switch out these various square bracket items for what you want to see in your image. The first example is a 3D render of a grey star alien in a spaceship, gloomy and spooky. But change the location, we have a 3D render of a grey star alien in an office, gloomy and spooky. We get something a little bit different. Change the mood to powerful energy, and we get something vastly different again with the alien in the office. But if I change the alien to a dolphin, we have a 3D render of a dolphin in an office, powerful energy, or we can pop him back in a spaceship. Have a 3D render of a dolphin in a spaceship, powerful energy. And if this is starting to look a bit absurd, I'll switch it to a detailed pen sketch of a dolphin in an office, gloomy and spooky. And again, make another change to a spaceship, and we get a different style yet again. This is a nice easy way to switch out bits and pieces and experiment with prompts to see what kind of results that you can get. If you're looking for more prompt formulas, I'll pop a video on the screen right now. You can check that out. That will get you started with some prompt formulas in Midjourney. Otherwise, that's a video for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again next time. Have a great day.